going to do 3D good mornings for the superficial backline now, and these are myofascial mobility exercises. So first of all, I'm going to demonstrate the good morning. Softly bent knees, fold the arms in front of the chest, or you can have them down by your side. And you're going to shift your hips back as you lower your torso, keeping it straight. Imagine you've got a bowl of water that's your pelvis and you want to tip water out the back of the bowl. This takes us into a posterior tilt, and then repeat the exercise. And depending on your limitations will be whether you'll get further or less far in my case. And we can go for an anterior tilt of the pelvis, so thinking of that bowl of water, tipping water at the front of the bowl, with a bit of a duck butt going on there. In my case, I find better range in that movement, but you won't necessarily. Soft knees, nice straight neutral back, hip hinge, looking at a point in front of you so you keep your neck nice and straight. We're going to add some 3D movement to that exercise now. 360 breath in, keeping the spine tall and neutral, soft knees, hip hinge, breathing out as you reach eccentric end range, hip shift, return. Myofascial lines run in all directions, remember, so although this is an exercise for the superficial backline, by three-dimensionalising it we are aiming to then target fibres that run across in all different directions. 360 breath in, neutral spine, soft knees into the good morning, hip hinge, push the hips back, and this time we're going to rotate the shoulders as you breathe out. If you can get a lot of movement in this rotation, it's because you haven't taken yourself to the end of your eccentric range. So finding end range. And then add the rotation. We've got some other ways that we can add some different dimensions into the movement. The first of which is to just change our footprint. So ordinarily our feet are hip width apart, but we might take one foot slightly further forward and then still soft knees, neutral spine, hip hinge, and then swap to the other leg forward. We can also use some arm drivers in this exercise. So at the moment we've had our hands crossed across our chest, but instead we can actually hip hinge and reach one side, reach, and for me I feel that that's actually more beneficial in the transverse plane than doing the hip shift, for example, was. This isn't going to make changes, lasting changes overnight, and we'll see hopefully an improvement now, because that's what we're looking to do, is make change. But it's doing these consistently over time, over months, that will make this a permanent change. If you recall, when I did the posterior pelvic tilt, where I take my bowl of water, tip water out the back, and then went into the range, and then the bowl of water into an anterior tilt to tip water at the front, And again, for me, when I'm in posterior tilt, it's a harder exercise for me. The reason being that when you go into this posterior tilt, you are pre-shortening your hamstrings but pre-lengthening your back. And for me personally, my back is the stiffer part, and that's where I find it harder to get range, having pre-stretched the top half of my superficial back line and shortened the bottom half. I struggle to get to a lower end range, although it's improved slightly having done the exercises. For me, if I go into an anterior pelvic tilt where I'm shortening the top half of my superficial back line and pre-lengthening the bottom half, and I can get a really decent range on that. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video of the 3D Good Morning. If you have, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.